Hello and welcome to my channel. We are here going over my draft team for the TBL Season 6. It's here, it's time, the TBL has started. So, what are we rocking this season of the TBL? I didn't get to record last season, hadn't quite set up my recording software for that season in time to record for it, but I've got it all set up this time. So what are we doing? We are going offensive with a sand mode. Didn't realize I had a sand mode while I was drafting, found that out in the post. Oh well, it happened. Who are we to complain? So what do we have? Let's get into it. So what we did was we drafted Zapdos Galar, Mandibuzz, Slowbro Galar, Dracozolt, Dowel Blade, Shiinotic, Araquanid, Gigalith, Dugtrio Alola, yeah, and Entei. Entei being my final pick was insane. Couldn't pass up that opportunity. Without any further ado though, let's get into the picks. So we have Zapdos Galar, a beast of a Pokemon. Its ability allowing it to raise its attack 2 stages whenever one of its stats is lowered by an opponent. Disgusting, especially with that base 125 attack stat. So on each of these slides, I'm going to have the base attack stat and all of the other stats so that you guys can see it. Let's see, we've got a base 90 HP, base 125 attack, base 90 defense. Look at those defenses. We here on this channel love the defenses. Base 85 special attack, serviceable. Base 90 special defense, joining the HP and defense stats, because this beast of a Pokemon can tank hits on both sides, and a base 100 speed to wrap up all of that defense into a beautiful speed stat. This is going to be our start. This was a tier 1 pick, the highest tier we could take. So yeah, we are starting off the league to a good position. I was third or fourth in the seating. So I had a pretty early pick of most of the tier 1s, and that came through with a Zapdos Galar. Mandibuzz is next. What does this beast do to our team? It gives us a base 105 defense, as well as a defogger and a tailwind setter, and overcoat for sand, which was not intentional, accidental. I'm not even going to complain. This is a tier 2 pick, and it is an early tier 2 pick all day long. I got it towards the end because it was on the backdraft, and I still got this thing. When it came back around to me, I was like, Roost, Defog, Toxic, check, check, check. Can it hit hard? Yes. Can it pivot? Yes. Am I taking it? Yes. Base stats here is 110 in HP. Amazing. 65 in attack. Not too bad. Serviceable. 105 in defense. Okay, it gets toxic. 55 in special attack. Serviceable. It gets nasty plot. I can roll with a 55 base special attack. Base 95 special defense. Yes. So all 3 of its defensive stats are above 90. And then a base 80 speed to wrap all of that delicious bulk into one. This thing can tank hits, give us a safe switch in, give us a safe lead, a nice slow U-turn if I need it to, or a fast U-turn, can set up multiple things for me, get rid of my opponent's setup. This thing does everything I need in a tier 2 pick. And what do we have next? We have Slowbro Galar. That was our next pick. Look at that face. How could you turn away that face? That is an adorable face, and it is a tier 3 pick if I ever saw one. We have a base 95 in HP defense. It allows it to have that bulk it needs to use Slack Off and set up nasty plots in my opponent's face. And we all know we love those setups. It also learned some nice defensive moves as well. And with Shell Sidearm and Psyshock, this thing can hit on whatever defense is weaker for my opponent. As long as it is not a Steel type staring this thing in the face, this thing just clicks Shell Sidearm if it can't click Psyshock. And it still has those last 2 move slots to go to Nasty Plot and to go to Slack Off. So let's just have a look at this thing's stats and you'll see why I took it. Base 95 in HP, beautiful. Base 100 in attack, beautiful. If I ever need it to, this thing can be on a physically offensive set. I don't know if I'd ever need that, but it can have that as an option. Base 95 defense, yes. Base 100 special attack, same as its attack stat, and it gets nasty plot. This thing hits like a truck. Base 70 special defense, not even the worst special defense. The only thing that lets this thing down is base 30 speed. But it gets Regenerator. So if it is not a favorable matchup, I switch out, heal, and then come back into it later. With higher HP than when it left. I have no reason to not take this thing as a tier 3 pick. Moving on, we have another tier 3 pick, our second tier 3 pick, in Dracozolt. Why did we take Dracozolt? Because why not? Base 75 speed, base 100 attack, with Bolt Beak, and Dracovish is a tier 1 pick. I was not using tier 1 points for this, but the main reason I took this thing, it gets Volt Absorb. So at the time, I was like, I have 2 flying types. I want to take a really early immunity to electric, and Dracozolt fit the bill. I'm an offensive plan, and I can swap in with an immunity if I choose to have that ability. If I don't choose to have that ability, which you'll find out why later on, I can still come in and quad resist electric. This thing does everything I needed it to at the time. Base 90 HP, check. Base 100 attack, check. Base 90 defense, check. Is this sounding familiar? Because my tier 1 pick has a higher base attack, but base 90 in both defenses. Yes. Base 18 special attack. This thing can be mixed. This thing can be special attack. Base 70 special defense. Serviceable special defense. Speed of space 75. It can be Choice Scarf. It can be Sand Rush. Why would I not want this tier 3 pick? Yes, please. Next up, we took a Dowel Blade. Now, this was a questionable choice. This is my tier 4 pick. And the reason I chose Dowel Blade is I needed the defense and I needed the steel typing. I had a dragon. I was going for steel. I did pick up a fairy later on. So, why did I choose Dowel Blade? Well, special defense is nothing to be proud about, but its physical defense of 150 made it a very solid option if I needed to go on a defensive plan. Base 35, it pairs with Slowbro if I'm up against Trick Room, but it doesn't have to be under Trick Room because it can tank physical hits. It has a base 110 in attack, base 150 in defense, 59 and 49 for the last 2, so 59 in HP and 49 in special defense. Not amazing, but serviceable. And then we have our special attack stat of base 45 and our speed stat of base 35. Both pretty low. But for a middle stage evolution with a base 150 in defense and a base 110 in attack that can hold an Eviolite, I can put everything into special defense and not even worry about my defense. So moving on, there's not really much else I can say about Dowel Blade. So we'll move on to tier 5 pick being Shiinotic. Where do I begin? Strength Sap? Literally, one of the main things I was going through my mind was, this thing has Strength Sap. This thing resists electric. This thing is a fairy to pair with my Dragon and Steel. This thing gets Moonlight. This thing gets Rain Dish. At the time, I still didn't know I was on the Sand mode. This thing gets Rain Dish. Base 60 HP, base 80 defense, base 100 special defense, base 90 special attack. This thing can take hits and dish them out hard. Base 30 speed, I guess I could have chosen to go on a Trick Room plan if I really, really wanted to. And a base 45 in attack, but you're never going to use that. It's nice to have it low because then you're not taking as much from Confusion. This thing is... And look at that pretty little smile. You just can't be mad at this thing. This team is looking adorable. So, moving on. The scary ones now. Araquanid. With a base 92 in defense and base 132 in special defense. It gets webs. That was the reason why I took it. That literally the entire reason. It gets webs. It also resists ice. That does come up because I do have a lot of ice weaknesses. And that was the other reason why I took Dowel Blade. But yeah, base 68 in HP, base 70 in attack, base 92 in defense, base 50 special attack, base 132 special defense, base 42 speed. Yeah, this thing takes hits. It heals them back. It can be toxic webs and aqua ring. It can be leftovers. It can be choice band with 4 attacking moves. This thing gets leech life. Never pass over leech life. Yeah, this thing does so much, and that's why I took it. Monstrosity number 2, Gigalith. Base 85 HP, base 80 special defense, base 130 defense, base 135 attack, base 60 special attack, serviceable but not important, base 25 speed. If you've been playing since Gen 5 or Gen 6 or Gen 7, you know what this thing can do, and you know that this thing can do it well. It sets up sand, it got body press this gen, it dishes out hits, it tanks hits, it rests. This thing does so much, and it is beautiful that I've got it on my team. I don't normally use sand mode, I don't normally use weathers at all, but yeah, this thing does what I need it to. Next! Back to the fabulous. We have the Beatles. Oh wait, sorry, no, that says Dog Trio. Well, oh, where do we begin? What does John and Ringo? I can't even keep a straight face talking about this. Sorry, give me a moment to just compose myself. So what does John, Ringo and Paul do to be on this team? Well, their HP is abysmal. Defense is serviceable. Attack and speed, those are the main reasons why it's on this team. It's a very good choice band user with a base 110 speed and a base 100 attack. Its defense base 60 and special defense base 70. They allow it to take maybe one hit at best, but its HP stat is really where it lets it down. being base 35. But if you can get those hits in, it gets Sucker Punch as well. Choice Band Sucker Punch can be really powerful. And on this team especially, it gets Sand Force. And that allows it to dish out some pretty nice hits. It might be able to get out 1 or 2 hits before it goes down, but that's about all you need to get with Dugtrio. You might take 2 Pokemon down. And Tangling Hairs, it doesn't take hits very well, but if you need to sack it off against a physical Mon, that Tangling Hairs can come in handy to slow down that Mon so something else can come in and pick it off. And next, and last but definitely not least, we have the Majestic Entei. What can I say about this Pokemon that you don't already know? With a base 115 HP and a base 115 attack stat, this thing takes and dishes hits out. It's got a base 85 defense with a base 75 special defense. Its physical defense is really nice. And a base 90 special attack with a base 100 speed. This thing can be fast, offensive on either side. It can take hits. Base 90 means that you can definitely run this thing as a special attacker. Shadow Ball, Sacred Fire. It gets beastly special attacks as well as beastly physical attacks like Extreme Speed, which was primarily the reason why I took Entei. I needed a fire type, but I was also lacking in the priority a little bit. I had Shadow Sneak, I had Sucker Punch, but I really needed something consistent like Extreme Speed. High base power, plus 2 priority, goes before Quick Attack and Shadow Sneak, so this thing doesn't get picked off. If it survives the first hit, you can guarantee you can get a second hit in. And that's why I took it. So overall, guys, we have a pretty strong team. I do have a few trades planned for weeks 2, 3, and 4. So stay tuned for updates about the team there. I will discuss what I am dropping and why I'm dropping it, as well as what I'm picking up. I will use very similar slides to what I've used here, where I'll lay out their base stats, and I'll discuss their pros and cons on my team. This will allow you to understand why I'm making these changes and how it's going to affect the team going forward. I will also be planning to do weekly uploads with my battles as and when they happen. There is a bye week scheduled for, I think, between weeks 5 and 6. I will double check that and get back to you in a later video with that. But yes, that is everything from me for today. If you've made it to this point, congratulations! You've seen the glorious Entei on my screen. And until next time, take care and be kind.